Welcome everyone to today's live interview with the one, the only, fantastic Vanessa Raymond. Vanessa, welcome.
Thank you, Leila. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so happy to see you again, as always.
Yes, I am going to I just realized I didn't pull up your bio. So I'm going to pull it up right now. And I want everybody to learn more about you. So I want to remind everybody, this interview series is all about interviewing women who own their worth, number one, and number two, help other women own their worth. And I would say if there's one perfect example of somebody who not only owns her own worth, but helps others own their worth, women and men, it would be Miss Vanessa Raymond, Mrs. Vanessa Raymond. So Vanessa is a seasoned international speaker, author, confidence and success coach, as well as a multiple business owner. She is a successful entrepreneur, as well as executive leader and director of education for Achieve Systems, which we'll talk about today. It's one of the largest health and wellness communities and coaching support systems in the industry. She is a wife and devoted mother of 3. Vanessa helps entrepreneurs, speakers, and leaders to step into their power by improving their confidence, creating meaningful relationships, and a powerful business image so that they can be successful personally, professionally, and financially. So, Vanessa, I am so excited to have you here, and we're going to talk about today the power of community to elevate your self-worth.
Yes, yes. Fun stuff.
Super
Uh,
fun.
Super fun.
Super
Yeah.
fun. So I want to say, I want everyone to know, same thing. If I'm looking at my phone, you'll catch me today. All I'm doing is I'm capturing notes that Vanessa says that are super powerful. And I want to say that I've known Vanessa for quite a number of years now. And one thing that I love is Vanessa used to travel the world and be a performer and you've been on stage pretty much your entire life, right?
Yes, yes, pretty much. It's the
Yeah.
way I grew up. Yes.
Way you grew up. That's what I thought. So, I would love to ask first, this is a group for women who are working on owning their worth and helping others do the same. So I'm wondering, was there ever a time that you weren't owning your worth?
Absolutely. I think, and I always say for all of us, I think we all have seasons in our lives and we have ups and downs. We have stages. And I find mostly, I think, when we start something new or we have huge change happen in life, that is when it becomes challenging because we start asking questions that we might not have asked before. We start challenging ourselves in different ways. And then quite often it's easy to go, well, am I worth it? Am I doing the right thing? What am I doing? So definitely. And I have gone through quite a few changes in my life where, I think we all experience that. And for me, definitely, I would say probably one of the biggest, the times where self-worth was a bigger issue for me was when I was going through my first divorce. Well, my only divorce, but my divorce. Because you question as a woman, did you do what you were supposed to do? What did you do wrong? Why isn't it working out? Should I have tried harder? Should I have done? So I would say that was probably a time of most turmoil for me with regards to self-worth. Now, as far as being a performer goes, of course, especially in the world that I grew up as a dancer and a singer and actress, a musical theater was my number one love. But growing up, stepping on stage and then dealing with a lot of, especially in the professional performance industry, there's a lot of uh, people that just say what they think, right? And uh, then when people criticize, you immediately turn around and look at yourself as the problem. And that is where I learned some of my biggest lessons with regards to confidence and self-worth, that people will have their opinions, but it's not always about us, it's sometimes about them. Right. So, most of the time, when people give negative feedback, I have found that they are mirroring or projecting their own insecurities or their own issues or problems. And it took me a long time to recognize that. And that is why I'm passionate about sharing it, because when you become aware of it and you think about it and you ask the right questions, gives you the opportunity to go, well, maybe it's that person's problem, not mine, or maybe it's not my person. Maybe it's not my kind of people, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I would agree in my own life. My self-worth was challenged the most during my one and only divorce as well. And
Yes,
yeah, the language that I remember hearing in my mind was, I'm a failure,
right.
you
Right.
know.
You think that whatever is happening or the situation is because of something you did or who you are being, right? And it's not always the case. And if it is the case that you somehow self-inflicted whatever is happening, no matter what the situation is, I always say it's a wonderful thing because it gives us the opportunity to look at it and to see where we can make changes and improvements if needed. And that is all part of the self-growth journey and owning your worth.
Oh, that's beautiful. So one thing you said was that some people, it's their personal projection onto you when they're, giving you criticism sometimes. And sometimes some people just aren't for you. So that, brings me to this, today's topic of community.
Yes.
And so you help people individually, you help people in community own their self-worth. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of community with self-worth, and also, how would a woman choose a community to improve her self-worth?
Absolutely, Leela. We all have a need for connection. And I think you told me that one of your mentors said that when witnessed as women, we blossom, we bloom, right? Uh, as much as we want to say that we do not need the validation of others, or we should not need the validation of others to feel good about ourselves, at the same time, while we don't need it, it does help us to see ourselves from other people's perspectives and other people's views. And if those views and perspectives are positive and they're affirmative, then it really does add to our self worth and the way we feel. So when you ask about women finding community and finding the right community for them, I think it comes back to really trusting your own judgment and your your own feeling about the people you are around. Uh, we have social media and we have Google, and we can go Google groups and we can go find communities online. But I think in the end, we all do get a feeling when we enter a community and we start communicating with people. Uh, in person, it's a lot easier to do that. But if you are looking for virtual communities or online communities, it is going to take a little time to talk to some people and see what feeling you're getting from the community to decide whether that's a place you want to hang out or whether you want to move on and find somewhere else. My husband and I, Rob and I take a lot of pride in the community we have built. And it is because we know that as humans, we resonate with heart centered, caring individuals who are givers. And so we make it our business to bring those people into our community. And yes, sometimes people will come into the community that aren't a good fit, and we won't know it right away, always. And then you just, you know, very kindly ask those people or tell them or help them find a community that's right for them, but then our place isn't right for us. So as a woman, it's your responsibility to go out, find what resonates with you, what feels good in your body, what makes you yummy, and then go there at places to find community.
Oh, I'm going to have you repeat that because it cut out for a second. So I heard you start to say what feels good, and then in your body, that part
Oh,
cut out a
yes.
little bit, and that's my
I
jam. So will you say that again?
Yes, I said you want to go and find what feels good in your body, what feels yummy, what feels positive,
Mm.
and then that's where you engage. And if that doesn't work out, know that there are so many wonderful communities out there. If one isn't for you, don't immediately, because we tend to look at ourselves and go, oh, you know what, I'm the issue. No, I always talk about the frequency that we move around in life in, right? You choose your frequency. You are a frequency, you are energy. You want to go find those energies that complement that. And if that isn't your space, then you will find another space. There is so much to go around, and there's so much out there for us to tap into. And it's just becoming aware of who you are and what you're looking for, and consciously looking for that.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love this. I will say I'm a member of the Achieve community that Vanessa here is talking about. And I've been a member. I get this question, just so you know, Vanessa, quite often from people who they ask me, how long? I
Right.
often get, how long have you been part of Achieve? It's like
Yes.
one of the first questions I get asked from somebody who's new. And it's been about 4.5 years. And that's a long time for somebody to be part of a community if, in the business world. So that's about half of the time that I've been in business, actually, now that I think about it.
Yes.
And I've benefited in so many ways. I would say, being witnessed, like the mentor said, the feminine blossoms when witnessed, being supported, being loved through the good times and some of the challenging times has been something that I've really appreciated with Achieve. And one thing I wanted to bring up is, so Achieve is a large community. It's grown. I don't know, but I would say it's probably doubled in the last year or so.
It really has. We have exploded.
I love that. And I'm so happy for you. And I'm so happy for the community. And one thing that I've noticed, I've taught networking before. And I say, go to a network event. If it kind of jives with you, go a few times, because in the beginning, I have a tendency to be a little standoffish. In the beginning, I'm
Mhm.
assessing to see if the frequency is right for me. I'll connect
Yes.
with people, and then I'll be more jovial. And people think I'm like super extroverted, and I'm a social extrovert, or I can be extroverted, but I actually recharge alone, which is more of an introvert quality. So
Yes.
what I've noticed, and I've been in high-end mastermind programs, I've gone to lots of big conferences with lots of people, and I'll notice something where like the whole community is amazing. And then maybe you don't jive with like one person or two people, or maybe there's a few people that you don't jive with. And then I've seen in Achieve and other communities over the years that sometimes a woman will capture that one person they don't jive with, and then they'll identify with that as the whole community,
Right.
instead of seeing the whole community as a potential support system. So I was wondering if you could talk about that, because I see that a lot, like, and I've even certain times, definitely there's certain people that I just don't jive with, our energies don't match.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I just don't, interact with that person as much. I interact with all the other people that I do jive with. So I
Right.
feel like that's kind of a mistake that women can make sometimes, where they hone in on the one person or the two people that they don't jive with. Can you speak to that?
Absolutely, Leila. Yeah, that's a great point. And yes, we see that a lot. When you enter a community that's as large as our community, I mean, we're up to probably close to 800 members now. Now, at the events, the larger events, the conferences, we have around 250, right? Maybe around 300. And then we have our smaller events. But as humans, we have to always remember, like, the larger the room, the larger the amount of people at an event or in a community, the more chance there is that there might be some people that you don't jive with, as you said, right? People that you don't necessarily resonate with. understand that that is normal. And the bigger the community, the more of those people you might run into. But if the general feel of the community and the mission of the community and the energy of the community, don't let that derail you. No, just very gracefully disconnect and connect somewhere else in the same community. Uh, it's okay. When we talk about self-worth, I was that person that I'm a people pleaser, right? So I always wanted to make everybody happy and I want to make sure everybody likes me. And I wanted to make sure I don't no longer do that because I've learned that that does not serve you very well, right? Because then we become too much of a chameleon and we lose our own identity and we forget who we are as humans by trying to accommodate everybody around us. Um, it's okay if someone isn't your person. It's okay if someone doesn't resonate with you 100%. You are going to run into those people. It's okay. That doesn't make you less of a good person or less of a liked person. It just means that that person isn't your person. So I love that you brought that up, Leela, because I think you are right. We do tend to latch onto that one thing that's negative and forget about all the other positives. And then that doesn't serve us the best, right? The best way to serve ourselves and to step into the bigger and better version of who we are is to go gracefully go, you know what? Thank you, and move on, right? We got to learn on to move on in life because uh, otherwise we stagnate. Otherwise we get stuck. We get stuck on things. So moving forward and there's a little, I don't know if this even goes in here, but there's a little something that I was reminded of when you talk about self-worth and community and the fact that we do have the power to choose where we want to place ourselves is already a huge confidence and self-worth builder. And it reminds me of this little story that I heard. And actually, there's a beautiful version of it on YouTube, but it just really brings home the point for me of the little boy who went to his father and he said, Father, what is the worth of my life? And his father handed him a stone. And he said, Now, son, go to the market, offer the stone to someone there to buy. And when they ask you how much it is, just hold up two fingers, don't say anything. Right. So the boy went to the market. He held up the stone, and the lady said, Oh, I love that stone. I can put it in my garden. How much is it? He held up two fingers, and she said, Oh, $2. I'll take it. Right. So he ran back home to his dad, and he said, Dad, the lady offered me $2 for the stone. The dad said, Now go to the museum and show them the stone and hold up two fingers, don't say anything. So he went to the museum with the stone, and the museum owner said to him, I love this stone. I'd love it for my museum. How much is it? The boy held up two fingers, and the owner said, Ooh, $2,000. I'll take the stone. Right. So the boy was very excited, ran home, and said to his dad, Dad, the museum owner wants to give me $2,000 for the stone. And the dad said, Go to the precious stone store and hold up two fingers. So the boy went to the precious stone store. The owner said, Where did you find this stone? This is a very rare stone. How much is it? The boy held up two fingers, and the owner of the store said, $200,000. I'll take the stone. So the boy ran back home and said to his father, Father, they want to give me $200,000 for the stone. And his father looked at him and said, My son, now do you understand the worth of your life? It's not about where we come from, but where we choose to put ourselves. And so when you put yourself in a community that enriches you and that supports you and that encourages the increase of your self-worth and the understanding that you are worth it.
Girl. Oof, 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 oof. Yes. I want everybody to really take that to heart, that where you position yourself will help determine your self-worth. That's beautiful. I mean, that's amazing. I love what you just shared. I love what you and Robert and the whole community in Achieve do for your people. So a lot of the women in this group are business owners, entrepreneurial, or they want to become business owners and entrepreneurs. Many of them are multipreneurs. I heard that recently. I've seen it before, and now, multipreneur. I'm like, that's what I am, a
Me
multipreneur.
too.
Yes.
Multipreneur. I like that too. I've never heard that before.
I
That's
know,
cool.
I never heard it. I'm like, that is definitely who I am and who I work with and love to support.
Yeah.
So could you share a little bit about some success that you've seen? Like maybe there was a business owner that came to you, decided to join Achieve, and then because of joining Achieve and having that community that values them, lifts them up, supports them,
Yes.
teaches them, connects them.
Mm.
Can you share maybe one or more, like a few success stories, what you've seen from the power of community in terms of self-worth?
Absolutely. Leela, it's very difficult to pick one. We've been at this for a while. I've been with Achieve since 2008. So it's just been really actually I can use myself as a testimony even, because just being part of this community and watching the growth of the people that come through here has been incredible and has been very validating for me too, as a coach in Achieve and as someone who work with these people one-on-one and help everybody. People often equate worth or value with money, right? So, which abundance and value and worth has nothing to do with money. However, when you watch people prosper and you watch them connect, really connect, because as you know, Leela, one of our base needs is connection. When we feel alone in the world, and as entrepreneurs, a lot of us feel very lonely because we start our business and we feel like we have to do everything by ourselves on our own. But in this community, we've really created a culture where everybody understands that it's all about giving, not just receiving. And so I've watched many of our members blossom as far as their self-worth goes because they are experiencing success. And when you start experiencing successes, no matter how small, we also, as you know, in my call, in my mastermind call, I make it a point of celebrating wins every now and again, because it's so important to go back and remind yourself of your successes and look at those. And so we not only make a point of helping you reach success, grow your business, make connections, but also remind you of the wins that you're experiencing along the way. Because as we go and we raise higher and higher and higher on the scale as entrepreneurs, we sometimes forget where we came from and what we have done and what we've achieved. And I know you teach this in a big way too, to really go back and look. And so I've seen multiple people really just step into their identity and really find what it is that works for them. And in doing so, you can see them as human beings just start shining and blossoming and coming out of their shell. I've seen so many people who start out, in the corner going, I'm not sure how I fit in here, what to do, and then they start following the steps. And we give you very clear steps to follow. Do this, do this, do this, do this. And we're building a beautiful business image for you that's easy to get out there and to communicate to others what it is you do. And I've seen so many people just blossom and step into that bigger vision.
Yeah, I love that. I would agree. I'll let everybody know, my background right now is a summer background, but typically my background is actually, I'll show you guys right quick. My background in the past has been this one. Can you see that change? Okay, so this actually is a visual image of my movement mat, my proprietary movement mat that was created. And the even how I got to the idea of creating a mat, it was an evolution over time, but I came to an Achieve event, Achieve University, and as a member, and the idea of creating a product, an invention, came to mind. I had never thought about product. I'm such a service
Yes.
oriented person. Creating my own product, creating my own invention of sorts, came to my mind through community, mastermind, right? Other
Yes.
people's ideas. So I started thinking, and I had this other idea, which I won't share now because it might come true someday. I had another idea that I worked with Joe Constantine on a little bit to try to figure out if I could create. It's a little more difficult than I thought to create. You have to go through the process of, engineering things and see if it's going to work. It's a little
Yes.
bit more difficult than I expected. It might come to fruition one day, but right now it's not there. So after that, then I created Riverstone Movement, and then the movement mat came up. So I don't know that I would have thought of creating my own mat if it weren't for Community of Achieve. So I
Right.
just want to get everybody.
Having those mastermind opportunities, and again, being witnessed, and because when we get input from others around us, like the masterminds that we do, it's incredible when you get a sense of how other people view you. And that is also and that's how you come up with ideas, right? And how those things evolve and they become something. So yes, so the power of that is crazy. And I love what you've created, Leela. But yes, it all starts with having those conversations, having people with vision around you, people who can help you bring that vision to fruition.
Yeah, I mean, I just love it. I can visualize it right now, where I was sitting as it relates in the room with Robert speaking, talking about product and invention. I'm like, what invention can I come up with? I want an invention. I want a product. I got excited. And then it was probably, I don't know how long, maybe 2 years or something, 1 or 2 years later that it came through. It took a little time to develop. But I'm really grateful that it was through the power of community, I was able to own my self-worth in a way where I could come into the space of creating a product.
Yeah,
So
because quite often we don't believe we can actually do it. When I talk to people about creating education, how many people look back at me and go, but I can't do that, right? I'm not an expert. People underestimate themselves until they have someone to validate that and say, no, 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 you have what it takes. You can do this. I can show you how, right? Sometimes it's just that to step into that self-worth, into that value.
I love it. So I believe that anyone out there who is in business, whether you're in health and wellness, whether you're in the business world, marketing or
Anywhere.
financial, or when any, service oriented business, if you have a brick and mortar, if you're online, virtual, anywhere in the world, you can be part of Achieve, be part of this community. And will you share a little bit more about how, if anybody's interested in joining a community to get help with business, to get help with referrals and support and attend events live and virtual and all that, because Achieve offers so much. I mean, almost every day of the year, practically.
Right.
You can have
So
something.
we are back to 5 mastermind calls a week now. Our Wednesday call is now going to be the technology call. So we have 5 mastermind calls a week, one every day of the week for you to tap into. We do live events, we do virtual events, we have networking events, but most of all, we're really about helping you grow and build your business. So we can help you create business plan. We can help you with your marketing and the way you get yourself out there. We help speakers grow. Really, anything that you can think within what you might need to have a successful business. We provide resources for you that you can tap into to do just that. Grow your business, grow your revenue, grow your income. If you are interested in finding out more, you can schedule a discovery call. I'd be happy to hop on a call with you and answer all your questions and find out more about you and learn more about your business and how we can support you in going where you're going. It's all about having a vision, dreaming big, and we are there to facilitate that.
Yes. And I highly recommend, if you need help at all, want to plug into community, want to help grow in your business, want to learn speaking, want to learn how to create offers, how to get education programs, how to get create an invention, anything,
Right.
referrals,
Author books. We help you author
author
books
books.
too.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good. Exactly. I mean, so many pieces here. I highly recommend hopping on a call with Vanessa. As you can tell, she's a wonderful sweetheart. No pressure, going to give you all the information you need for you to make a choice on your own. So I have one last question for you.
Absolutely.
If you were to say one thing to all women in the world who are working on owning their worth, what would it be?
Understand your power. We underestimate ourselves on a daily basis. You are energy. You are contagious. You decide who you want to be and how you step into the world and how you show up. Trust in that and know that you are totally worth it and you can be whoever you want to be. We have the power to do that as human beings.
Yes, I love it, love it, love it. I have put the link down below in the comments so that anybody can schedule a call, learn more about Achieve, how you can help them as part of the community, support them. Vanessa, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you as an individual, as a woman in this world, and as somebody who's helping others with community. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Leela, and thank you for doing this beautiful podcast and making these interviews available to people to listen to. Always so empowering. Love everything you do. Thank you so much.
So welcome. I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone. I
Yay!
don't know if we're off or not.